In that soundbite we played before we went to the commercial, you said the framers would be horrified because everything they did was to create balance between the branches of government, and we've lost it. Expand on that.
Well, I'm afraid it's quite serious because the framers created a system that was designed to avoid one principal thing, that's the concentration of power in any one branch, because that balancing between these branches in this fixed orbit is what not only gives stability to our system, but it protects us against authoritarian power. It protects civil liberties from abuse. And what we've been seeing is the shift of gravity within that system in a very dangerous way that makes it unstable. And I think that's what the president is doing. I think that we've become a nation of enablers. We are turning a blind eye to a fundamental change in our system. I think many people will come to loathe that they remain silent during this period. It has nothing to,
we heard a lot of objections when President Bush expanded the powers of the presidency from the left and from the media. They haven't been raising the same objections now that we have a Democrat in the White House, and you say they do so at their own peril.
Well, I'm afraid this is beginning to border on a cult of personality for people on the left. I happen to agree with many of President Obama's policies. But in our system, it is often as important how you do something as what you do. And I think that many people will look back at this period in history and see nothing but confusion as to why people remained so silent when the president asserted these types of unilateral actions. You have a president who's claiming the right to basically rewrite or ignore or negate federal laws. Now, that's a very dangerous thing. It has nothing to do with the policies.
Why is it so dangerous? Why is it so dangerous? I mean, what's so bad that's going to come of this?
Well, you know, a system in which a single individual is allowed to rewrite legislation or ignore legislation is a system that borders on authoritarianism, because I don't believe that we are that system yet. But we cannot ignore that we're beginning to become a system that's a pretense of democracy. If a president is allowed to take a law and just simply say, I'm going to ignore this, or I'm going to shift funds that weren't appropriated by Congress into this area. The President's State of the Union indicated this type of unilateralism that he has adopted